And we are live. We are back. It's been a few months. The last time we were coming to you live from Florida. Now we're coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. Of course, Nicole, what would the Reels and Heels be without a little chaos is missing. She will join us shortly. But I have got a good group of people here. We got some local business owner here. He calls himself a doodler, but he's an artist, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We have a couple rabid football fans here in the San Antonio area. Of course, they're also wrestling fans as well. And then we got our spooky friend up in Florida. Yes. So I'll go around, starting with you, Danny. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, what's up? My name's Danny Sanchez. I've been in San Antonio for 11 years. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. I went from fixing tanks in the military to now I fix refrigeration systems. It's weird dynamic how that works. And I just do doodles for a hobby, and I'm sort of making a little bit of change on the side with it. I've been doing stuff for bands lately. I've been doing my own stuff for the local XFL team. Like, it's not licensed, not that. I just draw doodles. People seem to like them. So yeah.
Sheila.
Hi. I don't really know. I just work and do spooky stuff. This is spooky season, so like everything is coming to a head. I've got some paranormal investigations coming up lined up here pretty quickly, so I'm pretty excited about that stuff. A couple of conventions going on, and just like getting ready for my favorite time of year. So
yeah. And then we got Captain Cool down there, Steve.
What's going on, everybody? Been in San Antonio for, good Lord, 33 years this October. Huge sports fan, especially of the XFL team, the Brahmas. Writer. I've just basically working my butt off just so I can, enjoy life.
And then we got Roman. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Howdy, everyone. I'm Roman, and I am from San Antonio originally. I've moved around the U.S. and the world, but I am currently back here to open up a soda shop. So we opened up San Antonio's first drive-through soda shop, and it's been going great. It's a lot of fun. It's hot here, so it's perfect for getting a awesome drink. So it's been a good time. And I love me Texas.
And then Johnny, go ahead and introduce yourself.
How y'all doing, folks? My name is Johnny Salazar, and I'm just a guy. I'm a passionate football fan, Navy vet, born and raised here in San Antonio, Texas. I love to travel, and I love to eat. And as far as, professionals are concerned, I'm a project manager for a remodel and restoration group with a couple of my partners. And with that, I get the luxury of traveling the country and combining work and play at the same time.
it's really cool.
And then we'll get into it a little bit later, but Johnny is a stroke survivor. So when we get to his story, which is wonderful. I mean, it sucks that he had a stroke, but it's a wonderful story in the end. So I guess we'll start with Roman, because I know you can only be here for so long, right?
Yeah, fortunately, but yeah.
So I have this to show you. Roman owns this really cool soda shop. It's called Drank. And if you follow him on Instagram, he comes up with tons of crazy ways to promote his shop. He will go to, of course, random restaurants across town and pair drinks and stuff. But I'll let him get more into details of how Drink works.
Yeah, for sure. So I can't claim that I'm the mastermind behind this whole movement or concept, but what I did do is I saw that it was really, really popular out west. So I'm from here, but I lived in Utah for 8 years, and super popular there. It started to grow outside that sphere into just all across the nation. And so it's I'm from Texas. we love soda. Why the heck don't we have soda shops here? It's freaking hot. So I'm like, let's take it back to Texas. Let's make our own brand. And like, I wanted it to be a Texas themed soda shop. So like, it's called Drank, but it's the Lone Star Soda Shop, like as like, you know, its subtitle. And so now we have like we have all original combinations and names and flavors. And I think you can share the screen here. And I'm not sure if I'm able to do that, or if maybe you want to pull it up, because you can go to like dranksoda.com on the menu page, and then you can like scroll through and like you can really see what we offer. I thought that might be cool for you.
You might be able to share the screen if you do the screen share.
All right, I'm gonna give it a shot here.
All right.
There we go. Present. Share screen. All right, let's give this a go. This one. All right, can you see that screen?
Yes. Here we go.
Awesome. I don't know. I can't see the y'all now, but here we go. So yeah, so let me just give you a couple of ideas of what we do. So yeah, you'll see like we got your favorite sodas here. So Dr. Pepper is huge here in Texas. We got Mountain Dew or Sprite, Coke or Pepsi. You know, Big Red is also a big Texas thing. I mean, I hope all of y'all had Big Red. I love it. We love it here.
I don't get it, Big Red, but that's just my personal choice.
That's okay. It's okay. You live in Texas long enough, it just kind of gets in you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we take out like these. So we have like Dr. Pepper here, and what we do is we'll mix in these different flavors, and each of these names are those combinations. So we got the Saytown, named after San Antonio. So that's cheesecake flavoring, strawberry puree, and cream. And we mix that into the Dr. Pepper, and so it's like almost like a strawberry cheesecake inspired one right there. And like that one's been really popular. Then we have this La Chancla. Anybody here been hit by the chancla before?
Yep.
Yeah. So we got La Chancla, and that's like guava, pineapple, and mango puree, and we mix that into Sprite, or you can choose Mountain Dew. We have all these crazy fun combinations. You'll see like the names are all Texas or South Texas inspired. We got a lot of Latin influence, or Hispanic influence here, and so like I got andale. Sometimes it's like a Spanish lesson coming down. People are like the andel. No, it's andale. Arriba, And so, of course, we have to have the Alamo, and we got the Cowboy, Texas Ranger, Chupacabra. So we got all kinds of stuff here. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Tu madre.
Yeah. Tu madre. Exactly. So
what was the dream behind this?
Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing now. So for me, I saw how well it did out there, and I'm like, and just being from here, I'm like, we love soda here. Like we have our like I was talking about Big Red, we have our own like following for these special sodas, and like Dr. Pepper was started in Texas, and so it's huge here. Like we just love it, and I remember people going to the gas station grabbing sodas all the time, and so I'm like, well, we just need this here. And like once people try it, and like because even if I explain it to y'all right now, until y'all try it, you're like, what's the big deal? And then you try it, I get it. That's good stuff right there. Like it's just like people, I love seeing all the people come in and try the combinations, and then just like you just see in their eyes, like, oh, I get it. And so if you get the chance, there's some other brands, there's like big ones all over the place now, like they're growing. So if you start seeing one in your town, like you should go give it a try. Obviously I think ours is probably number one, but but you get the idea from the other ones.
I have noticed though, there's a lot of drive-through, like just about anything here in Texas, like especially the coffee shops. I mean, all over the place. Like in Florida, I don't think we had a lot of the drive-through, like where it was only a drive-through to order your drinks.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
mean,
really?
that must be a new concept coming up across the U.S., I guess.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
really have a lot of that here. I can't really think of a lot of that.
Because here nobody wants to get out of their car.
It's too hot. It's too hot.
Yeah, your arm just gets burned as you're like reaching for the drink at the drive-thru.
But with that you also get your good and your bad because you also have a lot of drive-through places that serve alcohol.
In Texas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that
We call
over
them
here
chicken.
in Universal City. That was weird.
Yeah.
So you could just drive through Texas and like, hey, I'd like a rum and Coke. And they're just like,
Well,
okay, here.
Daiquiri places like the way they have Indiana.
Hell, Taco Cabana now you can actually get a frozen margarita with your drink.
I've
with
never
your-
wanted to live in Texas until now, so I don't have to get out of my
Yeah, that I think that passed like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah. They give it to you with a plastic. It has to be wrapped in a plastic bag. That way, it's concealed. So yeah.
Yes, and of course there'll be a cop waiting somewhere down the road for you when you're drinking and driving.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
You are supposed
It was
to
funny because we came out of Randolph base one day and we were just driving up Pat Booker and I was like, they have a drive-through margarita, like daiquiri margarita place. I was like,
Yeah, I've
what?
seen this place.
So you can drink and drive? What?
Welcome to
And it's
Texas.
like, oh, great.
The only thing
Oh,
I
you
know,
definitely know some place to drink that and drive, but it's such a silly thing. It's like, yeah, you're gonna wait to get home for your frozen daiquiri to melt.
right? So, because I'm responsible, I would wait till I got home with my frozen
Right.
daiquiri.
Right.
Yeah, no. In this heat, it won't be frozen when you get home.
Daiquiri
So,
soup.
I did message Roman the other day some interesting movies and TV shows to like kind of make a drink based on them. So I gave you 5 movies that were out this year. So we'll start with this one, Blue Beetle. What was kind of the idea of a creation behind that? If Blue Beetle was a drink.
Yeah. So those are some good ones. I've been thinking about them, and for that one, I'm like, well, that one's a little on the easy one because it comes with a color. Some of them like come with colors. It's like it's gonna be this thing, right? Like so, like the Blue Beetle, like blue raspberry by far. Like it's such a nice blue, like that Blue Beetle kind of color. And then also we started doing like what we call them twistered drinks, so you can like blend them up and make any of like those drinks that you saw into a slushy form,
That's
or as well. And so like yesterday, like someone got like Sprite and like a double shot of blue raspberry, and that looks so pretty. And that would be the Blue Beetle one right there. It's like make into a slushy and have the blue raspberry with Sprite.
Yeah.
So that's super good. So
Mission Impossible, which was a decent sized movie this year, everyone was talking about. What do you think? What would be a good drink to pair with that one?
yeah, my wife said something. If you remember from the original one, that's like the red and green, like the red and green gum, and one explodes, I think. And then she was like saying that, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we have. I was like, I don't remember that scene. Do y'all remember that scene?
I
Yeah,
remember
with
this
the wires. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the red wire. Oh, she said something else. Yeah, the red wire, the green wire. There we go. And then, so I was either like a red and green thing, which we definitely have, or like a red, white, and blue one, because he's like, a patriot. He's working for a secret organization for the U.S. government, and so like we have this one called the Lone Star, and that one's like a red, white, and blue one. You can't tell because it's in Dr. Pepper. But the flavors are blue raspberry, red raspberry, and vanilla. And it goes to the Dr. Pepper. And that one's always like in the top 5, like, most popular ones.
And then the other popular movie this year, John Wick 4. So what would pair good with the John Wick movie?
Yeah. So I was going for like a dark and broody kind of character, right? I mean, he's just and so I was like, oh, but what's something like it's like root beer, and we have one called the Texas Ranger, but it most definitely could also be the Lone Ranger because he's always rolling by himself. Well, at least I don't know, and so and taking down the bad guys. So that's like a dark color, and it's the Lone Ranger right there.
And then for those that love their cars, Fast and Furious, of course, had their 10th movie this year. So what would pair good with the Fast and Furious movie?
Yeah, I was thinking the Andale. So if you saw that one that I had, because and you get that one with Mountain Dew, of course, because so you get more wired. That's the way the caffeine's at, and so the Andale has the strawberry kiwi, but it's mostly that Scott. And then we throw in an energy shot because we have energy shots there too. So just throw in some energy shots, which is the nitro, right? They always got the NOS, like. I guess they have little buttons now. I think the first few they were like always like twisting, and then later on they like have hitting the buttons. So
and it's something that opened just recently, the brand new animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know you said something green, so what would pair with the good Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, so like I was like the most green drink we have is one that's I don't know if you've heard of this guy. His name's his handle's the bootleg food reviews, and he does like food reviews, and we did like a pairing, or sorry, a collab with him, and that's like a blue raspberry and pineapple, and with Sprite or with Mountain Dew. It's called the Bootleg Blast, and then we like mix as you mix that, it like becomes like this like green, blue, kind of turquoise color, and so I was like, that's probably the closest thing. But I think we just have to make something that was more green for the Ninja Turtles right there. Like, because we can do green apple. We have green apple. We haven't made a drink because we do drinks of the week. So we have like a rotating drink, and we'll have different things that we'll put in there. And then like just have fun. It's just having fun. And like people love that. And so we'll have to make a green apple one soon. And that one will be like a Ninja Turtle one for sure.
And now on the TV side of things, I picked 5 shows that are, a couple of them are older, but they're still in the zeitgeist of pop culture. So we'll start with this one, Ted Lasso.
Yeah. So that one, I had so many for Ted Lasso because, I mean, he's just he's a good guy, right? And he's just kind of to me, he's kind of got that cowboy like mentality. He's very American. He's very like down to earth. And so we had like a few of them that I like kind of had that came to mind was, well, one, the cowboy, but also like he says things that are very like Southern, like he's like dadgum, or things like that. So we have a drink called the dadgum. We have like a secret menu where we have a lot of these other ones because I got the dadgum, we got the twangy, we have the giddy up, and I'm pretty sure at some point in the series he's got to have said those things. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good ones. That's such a good show.
Yeah. And then Game of Thrones. It's a show that I never really got into, but it is a huge show. So what do you think would pair with Game of Thrones?
Yeah, so there's lots of blood in that show. So we have one called the Chupacabra. So the legend of the Chupacabra, it's a blood-sucking, goat-sucking monster. And so I think that one would go really well, which that's Big Red, Blue Raspberry, and Coconut.
And then, of course, there was the episode, The Red Wedding, right? So,
there you go.
Yeah.
And then you can throw in, so we have boba now, so you can like throw in some strawberry boba for good measure. And then they're like bursting with the red right there when you bite them. So,
yeah.
Just a dragon chomping on some people or something.
Yeah. And then The Office.
This is one that we had a hard time with. I wanted to ask y'all to help me think of something for this. Like, think of like, what's like a flavors that would go with something that's quirky? Like, what are some quirky like things? Like, because
So
You
so
can't
what if
have a
like
coffee. You cannot have a coffee flavored soda.
no? What if like one of the 31 what is it, 21 flavors in Dr. Pepper, right? Or how many flavors?
yeah.
Yeah, what if one of them was beets?
I was thinking that too, like beets.
God, no.
just like beets.
I'm out.
Soda.
Beets,
I'm out.
Dr. Pepper, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
There's Beats Battlestar Galactica. There you go.
You just
Like,
make
see,
some
I knew you all
Toby.
had some ideas.
You can make the drink called the Toby, and it tastes awful, and everybody hates it.
There
With beets.
you go.
And then
Yeah.
I think you had a good time with this one, Friends.
Yeah. So there were. It's funny that you say you can't have a coffee flavored soda because one, Coke made one. I don't know if it lasted very long.
It was awful.
But two, I inadvertently sort of made one. That's the most popular drink now. So for the longest time, the Saytown, which is the cheesecake one I was talking about, was the most popular since we opened. But in the last like 3 weeks, we have one called the Cowboy, and that one is now like the most popular one. Like it's beating it out. And that one is caramel, marshmallow, and cream in root beer. Like people love that drink.
That sounds actually really
And people are always telling me like that it's like, oh, this tastes almost like coffee. It's because the marshmallow is like technically toasted marshmallow, and then the caramel. I think they have those associations, but people love that drink so much, and it's just like I never thought that would be the most popular one that we have, but it is, and so I was actually gonna pick that one because they're always hanging out in the coffee shop since they're like always there and just chilling there. Well, let's see the Cowboy there.
That sounds
I have to
amazing.
bring this comment up here. Did you see this, Steve?
Whatever we say.
Brings one to the problem.
Oh my God.
So I don't mean to throw Joe, Mr. Mariachi out there. He's been on the show yet, or
Yes, he's been on the show a couple times.
yeah. So he came out of the shop, and we're hoping to do a collaboration here in the future, like for a mariachi drink, a Brahma mariachi drink. So
Oh no.
yeah. And we just did a Wimby water, so we got to have a Brahma one here, and then next month we're doing.
It's Brahma.
Oh, sorry. I went to
MacArthur.
Arthur for a little bit. I'm pretty sure they say Brahma, right?
I was like, is he British?
We ain't MacArthur. This ain't no MacArthur High School.
You're right. It's not a prison.
It's funny because KSAT was talking about that. They're like, is it Brahma or Brahma?
All right. So Brahma.
Brahma.
Yeah,
Brahma is
it's
a
a type of
As in the bowl.
bull. Yeah.
Like a bra, and then ma, and then bray, ma.
Isn't there like
No comment.
What a segue.
BRAH. It's bra because
Bra.
it's the BR is a blend and ah.
Oh, okay.
Says the
The
English
English
teacher.
teacher, yeah.
Well, those who aren't from Texas, we say everything wrong here. So we say it how Texas says it. So, I mean, we have Amarillo, which is a town up in the north, but everyone's like, I've never heard of Amarillo before because everybody says Amarillo. We have a street here.
Hey, George Strait says Amarillo.
it does say Amarillo.
I have a drink. Well, and I play into that. Like, I have a drink called Amarillo, but I spell it like Amarillo. And like we say, instead of saying Blanco, everybody says, go to Blanco Street. And even the county, even our county, San Antonio's county is called Bejar County, but everybody says Bear County. It's Bexar.
So the part of Florida that I'm from, people do that too, though. Like if you're not from this part of Florida, like so it's Alachua County, but they say Alachua. It's like, no, it's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Or-
and then you get like Okeechobee.
Wait. Well, I'm from Massachusetts. We pronounce a lot of things wrong up
I
there.
don't want to get started with y'all up there in Massachusetts, okay?
It's
Y'all,
everywhere. It's everywhere.
yeah, y'all pronounce a lot wrong.
Wait, if we're all wrong, does that mean we're all right too?
I'd like to live my life.
That sounds logic. That sounds logic. I like it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. It's how I like
So
to live.
the last TV show was The Boys, which is about to come back for their
Such a
fourth
good
season at the end of this year. I think you had a fun time creating a drink for this show.
There's a lot of red in that show too.
Yeah. Right. Well, we
There's a lot of
actually
exploding
have.
things, like
We
exploding.
just read. Oh, sorry.
There's just a lot of exploding humans in there. So you're talking about boba.
Just a drink with boba, like nothing.
It's like
Just boba and ice.
Hey,
you can call it
the
the
one thing
Homelander because that's pretty much what happens.
Or you can do like Mentos. You could do like soda and Mentos and just. Like,
There you go.
You're gonna have to drink that quick.
Pop rocks.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, we have the one. So we just like redid our menu, and we have one called the El Nino. So I figured that would be a pretty good one. So it's already The Boys.
I see what you did there.
And the El Nino is like an orange soda one with mango, strawberry puree, and coconut. And like if you throw some boba in there, yeah, you'll definitely get some popping, just like the show.
That's awesome.
Nice. Well, Roman, we'll hop back to you in a few, but let's talk to Danny. Danny, you want to kind of explain where the whole doodling came from?
Well, how I started drawing was when I was young. I used to go to this restaurant that had arcade games, and I really loved Contra.
Oh, wow.
Like Contra was one of my favorite games, so I started just like drawing little figure scenes of that, and it just developed. That's the band I do stuff for. Very good ska band. If you guys like ska, that's one of the first bands that asked me to do something for them. So yeah, I just started from there, self-taught. I never went to school for anything. Just doodled my whole life. I spent more time drawing in my notebooks than I did paying attention in school. So yeah, that's about how it started. So right now I just do like a little bit of freelance work. People ask me to do stuff for them, so like I just charge like $50. Like then I'll do a couple of edits for free. But yeah, it's pretty much stress reliever, stuff like that.
I need to get your information, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. What's it called? So yeah, just been doing that.
So did you were comics a big thing in your life growing up? Were you a Marvel
comic
DC
books?
guy?
Like right here, you've got a whole big stack. Like, hold on, I'll show you guys. A big stack of boxes of comic books. So yeah, comic books have been a big part of my life. I remember in third grade, the first time I picked up a comic book, it was Spider-Man #9, and it was this really, really awesome cover of like Spider-Man and Wolverine, and then the background is all green, and then people were just passing it around the classroom, and I was blown away. I actually went and found a copy of that exact comic and got it graded, and the guy's like, "Why are you grading this book? It's not worth anything." Like, yeah, but it's got sentimental value to me, so. You know, it came back as a 9.5. So it was the first comic book, and I just fell in love with the storytelling. I'm more of a Marvel guy, but DC's they're all right. Speaking of Movie Beetle, I'm a little disappointed because if you're from El Paso like myself, where we have a bone to pick with him, because the origin story for Jaime Reyes is he's from El Paso, from Isleta. Yeah. And a lot of us El Pasoans are kind of like pissed because they didn't put that in the story. He's from some made up city. So but yeah, comic books, video games, it's all been a big part of me trying my little doodles and stuff. It's gotten to where when I was in the military, and I was stationed in Iraq, and they pulled me off of my duty to draw a big mural for the first Cav, because I was the first Cav. So like I spent a couple of days painting it, and like that was like one of my best honors. Is going like, oh shit, I did something. I left a mark in Iraq. Besides what I did, like some of my artwork. Another thing is like I actually made a couple of T-shirts, like my own. Just I have 2 of them that I made for the Brahmas, and it's such an amazing feeling when you walk by and somebody's like, that should have been the logo for the team for the helmet. Like not the one you showed, but I have another one where it's just the head that I drew. So stuff like that like motivates me to keep drawing.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, you need to get out there. You need to go to these Comic Cons. You need to get prints and stuff. You need to maybe create you have an art page already?
My Instagram, it's 12 Danny Sanchez 12, like 12 because I'm a Seahawks fan, so 12 man. What's it called? I work as a handler for the Comic Cons, and people have told me like you need to get a booth, but like it's just sometimes I get shy about it. But then I go walk around and see some of the stuff people put out, and I was like, okay, my stuff's a little better than that. So I don't know. It's just a matter of doing that, finding time for it too. But yeah, I love drawing.
Just followed you, found you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Really cool. I'm a huge comic book fan myself. I still read comics at 40. Like comics are like my life. So.
Yes. I read the only character that I'll pick over Marvel from DC is Sandman. I'm a huge Sandman fan. Like when the TV show came out, I've watched it like 8 times. Like I stayed up waiting and resetting until the show was like live. Yeah, I love the Sandman. I have every single copy issue 1 through 75 of the first run from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I'm a big Venom fan. Venom's my dude. If you look at my Instagram, I do this thing where I call it everything can be Venomized. So I turned SpongeBob into Venom. I did Mickey Mouse. There's Mickey Mouse in there as Venom. What was cool is I did a minion from Despicable Me, and somehow one of the producers from Despicable Me saw it and liked it, and I was like, oh shit, that's fucking dope.
That is cool.
So yeah.
See, there's acknowledgement right there, man.
Yeah.
All right. I got a question for you then.
Sure.
Can you turn Garfield into Venom?
I can turn anything into Venom, sir.
No. Do Odie. Do Odie going after
Odie? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll throw down Garfield as Carnage. Odie is Venom. So look for it on my Instagram, and I'll throw it out.
That's a good one.
That's awesome.
So yeah, yeah, big '80s kid. Ninja Turtles was my jam.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Oh, probably Raphael. Because he was.
All right, we need to go around. All right, who's everybody's favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo.
Donatello.
Raphael. Yeah, I'm a big Raphael.
Michelangelo for me.
Yeah,
But Raph's smart.
Last year there was we had a Hill Country Comic Con down in New Braunfels, and I went and got all of my original first set of Funkos of the Ninja Turtles and April O'Neil. I got them all signed by all of them, so like they're like one of my grails up there. I have all 4 of all five of them. So yeah, I'm a big toy collector too. So I always tell people I'm 15% jock and 85% nerd. So
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, there's this guy in San Antonio called GoFro, and I think he's a big Funko collector guy.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't heard of him?
Yeah, I've got maybe over 300 Funkos that like now I don't know what to do with.
Let's not talk about Funko. I had to sell my collection to get here. So
He has PTSD.
I have a lot. I have more than I should, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
I have a Game of Thrones. I have the throne, and it's signed by Jason Momoa, Emilia. What's her name? Emilia Clarke. The girl that played her translator. Some of the swordsmen. The guy that played the Frost King. So they're all signed. It's got yeah. So that's one of the cool things about working Comic Cons, because like I said, I work as a handler with celebrities. You get to meet a lot of people and make friends with them. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie The Warriors?
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
So
Play.
yes.
Can
So
you dig it?
I handled Dorsey, and he played the war chief, right? And he was telling me why he's not, after they arrest him, he's not in the movie anymore. So what happened is that at midnight, when they shot the scene, his contract ended with the movie for some reason, and they didn't re-sign him. So that's why you don't see him in the rest of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Super, super awesome guy. He's like, hey, if you're ever in New York and you want a job, he works in the subway, but he still gets recognized as war chief, Cleon. So yeah, I've worked with a lot of wrestlers. I've worked with Ric Flair. I've worked with Mick Foley. I've worked with Lita. Who else? The newer guys like Adam Page, Rosemary. It's like the nerd life I live is, I've been blessed that it's been so awesome. Like, I've got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to stand and hang out with Spider-Man, Tom Holland, for like a couple of minutes one time. They just kind of dragged me, hey, what are you doing? I go, nothing. Come here, count tickets. And I was like, holy shit, I'm sorry. Holy crap, that's Tom Holland. So yeah.
It wasn't me
So, yeah.
first.
I didn't get the memo if we were allowed to cuss or not, so I apologize if
It's okay.
if I'm a potty mouth. Sorry. But yeah.
Usually it's
So basically anything pop culture, I'm a nerd about and stuff like that. I have a weird thing I collect too. Is I collect Grovers, like from Sesame Street. Yeah, like watch.
Okay.
But Grover was cool.
I must ask though, why Grover?
Why?
So, okay. So, and there's some more in the fact too. So this I actually found on Mercari, and this is the exact same, not the exact same one, but the same one I had when I was a kid. And I lost it, but I found the same one on Mercari, and the one I had, he didn't have eyeballs, so it was just Grover without eyeballs, and he was like my best friend. And to me, it was just Grover was just such a nice person, like just a nice monster. Like he just wanted to be friends with everybody.
Do you have Super Grover?
I have the Funko, and I have what's his last name, Mr. Gilchrist. He was one of the official artists for he signed one for me because I was his driver for a little bit, and I told him I love Super Grover, so he hooked me up. He signed one with Super Grover right in.
So, do you think he'll ever do? Does that mean you're not going to do a Venom Grover?
Oh,
You know what? Why not? You're like I said, anything can be Venom. Like this deodorant can be Venom. Anything. Yeah. It's all about the color scheme and finding where to put that chest piece. So it's all about placement. So yeah.
So we're gonna hop over to Sheila. Sheila, we haven't seen each other for a while. How you been?
I've been good. Yeah.
So you want to kind of talk about what's going on in the paranormal world?
Yeah. So I actually have some pretty cool stuff coming up. I mean, obviously, like we're getting into spooky season, so so nothing huge. As you guys know, well, maybe y'all don't know. So I am weird and creepy, but a couple of people, I don't know if I can say his name on here, but their NDAs expired. So all of like this really crazy stuff is coming out about like the bigger side of the paranormal investigation world and like all of the stuff that goes on TV and like, the fact that those of us that do it know that that's not real, but all the stuff's starting to come out. So like, I'm really excited because about 6 months ago, I was on a podcast and talking about this very thing. This was prior to the NDAs coming out. And so the podcast went out. It's a national podcast, and they got like a cease and desist. Like, you can't talk about this guy because he's kind of big, and I'm nobody. Like, I'm nothing.
Does his name start with a Z?
It does. So
okay.
like, you can't talk about this
that
guy.
narrows it down, y'all.
Yeah. It's. obviously, and his last name begins with a B. It should be a D for a douche, but that's not it. So anyways, so so they were like, yeah, you can't talk about it. So this was a fairly, national show. And I was like, I don't even I'm like no one, like nobody, like I'm not even that cool. And they were like, you can't talk about it. So the episode got pulled. And so now I'm hoping that now that it's like over, like all this stuff has come out, that like more people are going to be like into the purest of the shows. I shot a pilot about a year ago that did okay, but it didn't do great because they want like all of the exciting stuff that doesn't really happen, because Paranormal Investigation is kind of boring unless fun stuff's going on. It's a lot of sitting around. So we had discussed revisiting the pilot, kind of going back and forth on it. I think we probably will revisit it next year, but I'm kind of excited that he's going down. It's a little angry.
It's funny because I've heard stories about him from people that are not even in the paranormal fear of things. So yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is we went on the ghost tour in Clearwater before we left.
Clearwater,
like
St. Pete,
whatever, same thing, really.
Yeah.
It's like boom, you're there.
Yeah.
And then so we did the walking tour, and the lady actually talked about the Vinoy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says stuff happens with the Vinoy all the time. You just gotta be there to see it,
Right.
It happens every day. It's just that when you're looking for it, it doesn't happen as much.
Right.
So my gosh, the crew went out there and they fabricated the entire thing.
The whole thing.
The entire thing, because nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
And I'm like, nothing. Okay, when you are really haunted, it doesn't happen every day.
That's not how it works. Yeah.
And so for them to catch as much as they catch in one episode, it's a lot of reaction.
It is. And you're only so they only investigate it for a night at that. So you're not even spending a lot of time there. So you're trying to isolate, and it's ridiculous. I actually, my partner and I, for his birthday, he wanted to go to Casadega, which those of you who don't live in Florida, it's the psychic capital of the world. It's in Casadega, Florida. So he wanted to go there. So we go there, and there's a cute little haunted museum. It's actually really cute. And her and I got talking about it, and we're like, the thing is if you're really haunted, it, like you said, it doesn't happen every day, and you don't have to fabricate evidence for it to exist. And the way that they do, and I swear, of all the times I've been around haunted, creepy places, I have never, ever, unfortunately, ever had a demon want to get inside me. So I really don't understand why he's constantly getting possessed, because that doesn't happen. This isn't supernatural, guys. Unfortunately.
We went to the Whaley House in San Diego and nothing happened.
Yeah.
I was a total simp, and I went to the museum in Vegas that he's got. I mean, it's all right. I mean, you get your money's worth. It's a nice tour for maybe an hour and 20 minutes.
So I've heard that it was okay. The Dybbuk box to me is the one that I have the biggest thing. If it was a real Dybbuk box, you don't open those. That's just kind of funny. I don't know. Yeah, it's
they're sealed for a reason.
Exactly. And you can sign some waiver or something and open the Dybbuk box. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to open it because there's nothing there. But I also have a death wish. So what the hell do I know? But it's funny because he does have a lot of haunted artifacts. He does have a lot of very famously haunted artifacts. And so I do want to see it. It's just, I can't bring myself to do it. I
can't bring myself to give him money.
That's it. I can't. If somebody takes me out
with him, are we in the same situation as the Warrens, or does the Warrens have more credit?
So the Warrens have slightly more credit, I think.
Slightly more credit. However, they did really capitalize on people's fears. And personally, I feel like they probably were trying to do the right thing. I do think they capitalized, though, on a lot of people's fears, and they do have more credit than he does because, they're the minus Amityville, because I still have my outs on whether Amityville actually happened or not. But minus the whole Amityville thing, I do think that they probably were actually in that world, whereas Zach just wants to be known for something that,
He just wants to buy more. I'm sorry.
No, you're
He just wants to buy more Bejeweled t-shirts.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to, and jeans with rhinestones on them.
Or the glasses without lenses.
Yeah. It's a hard life. It's a hard life.
I was just gonna say though.
The thing about the Warrens.
Well, I was gonna say the Warrens, if anybody doesn't know, is made famous in the movie world with the Conjuring movies. Yeah. So
correct.
Well, and that's because they first started with Amityville. But if you've watched anything about Amityville, Ron DeFeo has come out multiple times and been interviewed maybe 7-8 times, and his story always changes.
Consistently changes.
So it happened. It didn't happen. It happened. Right. It didn't happen.
The mob was.
It was 100%. It was 100% haunting. My sister was possessed. Like so. Let's just say that chances are there was a lot of drug fueled, incoherence there.
Correct. Yeah, and like if you
doesn't
really
remember what happened.
No, and I mean these were, this was like they were doing pretty bad drugs back then, and so like that's the thing too with the Amityville thing is because if a place was really that haunted, it would still be that haunted. Like there have never been anybody who's ever lived in that house since has ever had an experience ever. Now the Conjuring house is a whole other haunted.
It would be more haunted now with the deaths of the DeFeos.
Correct, exactly, and that's.
But who cashed in on the whole thing was Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, the guy that told them all to fabricate a lot of the stuff, like flies and stuff. The guy. The guy.
The book is actually pretty good. If you've ever read the book, of course, it's pure fiction in my humble opinion. The book is pretty good. But like the Conjuring house, for example, there have been cases of people who've lived in the Conjuring house since saying, yes, the things do go on here. Obviously, Hollywood makes it a lot different than it was. But I don't necessarily think the Warren, I think that I don't think that they were, I think for what they were at the time, they were doing what they thought was good. I don't think that they, you know what I mean? Like they weren't bad people. I actually know her nephew. I'm in a group with him, a paranormal group with him. And so we don't talk about them because our opinions differ, obviously differ. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I don't think that they were, I think that they saw a revenue stream and they capitalized on it is what I think happened. But the whole the whole Annabelle thing, I mean, then you've got that and then a couple other stuff that they had. But the Annabelle thing.
Annabelle doesn't even look like that.
No, Annabelle's a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah. Annabelle's a Raggedy Ann doll, which
is a Raggedy Ann doll.
In of itself is kind of terrifying. But but if you think okay, here's where I kind of wonder, because the girl that lived in the Conjuring house had mentioned she could go in each room and tell you what had happened while they were there. And there was an instance of some weird stuff happening with cameras and stuff, even while the interview was going on. But she said the worst part about living there were the people that would end up on her front yard wanting to see the Conjuring house. I mean, that just fuels the fact that we're interested, beyond interested in the paranormal. There's places though that are much more haunted than those areas. Those places just haven't made, they have a name for themselves now, so they get the notoriety and stuff. But there are places in this country that are way more terrifying than anything that ever actually went on in the Conjuring house. I mean, St. Augustine, for example, has places there that are pretty active on a daily basis, which is something that you don't get often.
Well, here in San Antonio, there's quite a few places that are supposedly haunted. The hotel downtown. What is it? The Manger? For my podcast, we made one of the girls in our podcast stay by herself. We rented her a room and she made her sit there all night with a recorder. She didn't get anything, but yeah.
Nothing scares me. I don't let me rephrase that. That stuff doesn't scare me. However, take me to a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights and I'm going to scream bloody murder. Now I love it. I love to be scared. I freaking love it. But I can sit inside of a abandoned insane asylum all night long and not flinch, except for spiders. If I see a spider.
So I guess we need to bring Sheila here because one of the best haunted houses is the 13th floor. It originated here.
It's on my bucket list.
I mean, there's one in Florida because it's the same company, but the original is here in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. The one in Florida is in Jacksonville, not too far from where my partner's at. I keep trying to tell him, I'm we're going when it opens. It is on my bucket list. It's supposed to be really good.
really good. So yeah, I've been wanting to do the real one though, the original. I heard it was incredible. So
Yeah.
So we're gonna hop down to.
You're gonna go together. I'm not going.
I was just saying we're
I'm
gonna
down.
hop down to Johnny, and Johnny, you want to tell us your story?
Sure. I mean, there's not much of a story to tell, to be honest with you. What you would call it? I'm a Navy veteran, passionate football fan. Been a volunteer with our local San Antonio Gunslingers for the past couple of years, and that's been a lot of fun. I've coached youth sports for about 25, 30 years, somewhere in that range or whatever, till I finally called it quits and became more of a fan instead of being on the sideline so much. But yeah, you mentioned earlier I suffered a stroke. I suffered a stroke back in February. I was actually down in Alabama when it happened, and talk about a game changer. It was a huge game changer, from being so actively involved in everything that I did and being hands-on with a lot of stuff, to be using a football term, to be sidelined like that was very, very devastating because I didn't know, what the future held. And to be honest with you, I still don't know what the future holds. And taking a phrase from our wonderful head coach down here, the Gunslingers, Coach Fred Shaw, with his 1-0 mantra. That's kind of the way I take things day by day. Is 1-0. Trying to find that victory on a daily basis, and trying to stay upbeat and motivated to get to where I once was. And one of the things that I've always said, and I've shared with my doctors, I said, look, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to do everything possible within my physical means to get back to where I was. And if I don't get there, then it's just because it wasn't medically possible, not because of something that I wasn't able to do or put in the work to get to that point. And so here we are now. What you call it? The recovery process has been great. We're still moving along. We're still far from where I need to be. It's funny because a lot of people get the misconception because they'll see me, put videos up, whatever on my social media where I'm jabbering away, talking away, whatever. Hey, it sounds like you're great. You're doing all right, and this and that, and you're doing good. Yeah, I may have lost temporarily the ability to walk, but I certainly didn't lose the ability to talk. and I'm sure that some folks, wish I had, but sorry. This is my moneymaker right here, and this is what gets me paid. And fortunately, I was, all strokes are different. What I suffered in my particular situation was left side paralysis. Lost everything on the left side. It took me a while to come to grips, but because when I had that stroke down in Alabama, I was up there on a project. I was overseeing a project down there. And I was actually up there by myself and just with my contractors, and didn't have any family or anything up there. So I was pretty much by myself. And so I was on my own for a few days until I got back to San Antonio. And fortunately, being a Navy veteran, which I did have the benefits of, of the VA and all the resources that they have, and that they're continuing to provide for me. You know what I mean? To help me get back to at least as to 100 or as close to 100 as possible. In the quickest way possible. But I think the biggest problem I have with it is I have absolutely zero patience, and I feel, me personally, because of my expectations and how I hold myself to a certain standard, that I should be further along than what I am, and I kind of beat myself up over it sometimes. And I got to they're constantly reminding me. They go, just a few months ago you couldn't even walk, you couldn't even brush your teeth, what you would call it, not to be gross or anything, but I couldn't even wipe my own behind. It was that bad, and it's not it's something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And the ironic part about it is, for 13 years I traveled the country working for a vascular group, creating community awareness on, what you could do to, for stroke prevention, the telltale signs and stuff like that. Speaking with various, school systems and stuff like that, and their administrators or whatever, and trying to spread that message and create that community awareness. So, needless to say, when I was having my stroke, I was just that little bit more educated on the subject matter, than the average person, who suffers from a stroke. So I knew immediately what was going on, and I sprung into action as best as I could to get the the attention and the medical attention that I needed as quickly as possible. And I think because of that, I've come this far this quickly, aside from my own determination, and I do feel for those folks who don't have that little bit of education when it comes, to certain illnesses or whatever it's not, because not everybody on the top of their head knows about stroke or the heart attacks or stuff like that, because to be honest with you, why should we? We only worry about those things when it actually happens to us. And then all of a sudden we start educating ourselves, on certain things or whatever. And it usually takes, something unfortunate, for us to, actually start looking into things like that. But fortunately, I did have that little bit of education, prior, 12 years experience, traveling the country, creating that community awareness, on stroke prevention, that I was able to, start the recovery process or get the help that I needed, as quickly as possible before it became that much more worse.
Yeah, I gotta say I love the new video that you did where you were walking without your cane.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what you would call it. I've been holding on to that one for a few days. I try not to share too much, as far as the journey is concerned, because I mean, to be honest, it is tough and it is hard. Some days are tougher than others, and some days are good. Today's a good day. Today's a great day. Yesterday was a great day. But there comes that time, where, I get reminded that there are certain things that I'm limited to do. I'd love to go out there, even in this heat. Believe you me, I would love to be out there on the softball field, tossing the ball around, running the bases or whatever, And right now, I just can't, And that's kind of, those little things that I was so used to doing, and so, I was just so active, whatever. Case in point, last season, when I was, helping out the gunslingers, what you would call it, I was fairly active, you know what I mean, on, with, the game day and field stuff, with a good buddy of mine named Mike Pignon, who got me on. And it's crazy because I had the stroke in February, and gunslinger season started shortly after that. And at that point in time, I'm actually an inpatient polytrauma. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to miss the season opener. There's just no way I'm missing that season opener. I'm going to be there. One way or another, I'm going to find a way to get there. And I was a week and a half in, and the doctors told me, well, what you call it, we do have weekend passes. We do have weekend passes where we let, our patients, go out on Saturdays or whatever, this and that. But you've only been here about a week and a half. Well, I tell you what, I put in the work and I bit my tongue through a lot of pain to show that I wasn't having any or whatever and this and that. And by golly, did I get that pass. I got that pass that following week to make it to that home opener, and I was there. And I made it, and as soon as the game was over, there I was on my way back to the hospital to check when I checked myself back in. I mean, but on my way back to the hospital. Now, they had originally projected that I was supposed to be in an inpatient polytrauma for about, I believe, 8 to 12 weeks. Those were their projections. And to me, numbers are just numbers. What you can call it, you show me a statistic or whatever and this and that, and I'm going to show you a way to beat it. Or at least I'm going to try. Because I live by, the philosophy of nothing is impossible. It just hasn't been done yet. And so when they told me 8 to 12 weeks, I said, nah, there's no way. And so I actually shaved a little over 5 weeks off of their projections. I was in there for 25 days. From their 8 to 12 weeks, I was in there just a little over 3.5 weeks. and I had gotten well enough to come home and start the outpatient process of, our recovery, where we're at now. And so now that I'm walking without that cane, what you would call the next step is trying to skip, hop, maybe a little jog here and there. You know what I mean? And
So
go ahead.
I just want to say, so as a healthcare professional, like that's what my real job is. And that's really amazing and really impressive, because recovery of a stroke is not linear. I mean, recovery from any type of health thing is not a linear process, but that is amazing that you have come that far. I mean, in that short period of time. I mean, that is impressive. Like, honestly, like that is amazing.
Oh,
I think we need to get Johnny a drink.
Yeah.
One of those drinks, and then add a little. I don't want to say it on the air or whatever, but there's give me one of those drinks, and then combine it with something that I have in a bottle that's clear. Give it add a little bit that more spice to it.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you can get it here and it's good as is, but you can go doctor it up at home if you'd like.
That's awesome.
And you know what? Before we go off, what you call it, Ro, I did want to find out and ask you exactly where your location is at. Where are you located at?
Yeah. So awesome story, by the way. I have like family and friends that gone through things like that. So it's just a really cool story. I love to see that you like. I've seen people go through like so many bad things, but the people like are inspiring, like yourself, is like they don't let it stop them. They keep going. But yeah, the shop is over on TPC Parkway in San Antonio, Texas. So you go up 281, and it's right off TPC Parkway. So.
I'm gonna have to stop by there and check it out. I do have a question before I go on just a little bit. I mean, I could talk y'all's ears off, but Sheila, for you, when I was down in Alabama and South Carolina and in Florida as well and all that. By the way, I do love Florida, and I kind of miss West Palm Beach because that's where I was a month and a half.
Florida is the greatest because I'm here, but that's beside the point.
Nice. What's your opinion on Savannah? I visited Savannah, Georgia.
So thank you so much for asking me. Okay, so Savannah is one of my favorite cities in the U.S. I'm actually gonna. I'm spending my birthday in Savannah today. So Savannah is an amazing city. Savannah is a city built on its dead, much like St. Augustine. There are a lot of like haunted things that happen in Savannah, but also like it's just people are capitalizing on it because of tourism. Do I think Savannah is incredibly haunted? Yes. Do I think that? And I actually have Savannah is the only place in the entire time I've ever done investigations that I got photographic evidence. Savannah is the only place I've ever gotten it. Full body apparitions in the photo, the whole 9 yards. Of course, photographic evidence is subjective. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm very scientific when I go about my investigations. But yes, Savannah is very haunted. The problem is that unless you know a local in Savannah, you're going to get the tourist haunts. You're not going to get the real stuff. So I was fortunate enough that I made some friends that lived there and got to see some things that other people didn't get to see. But yeah, Savannah is very haunted. Savannah Cemetery is one of those places that you kind of walk by at night. And if you have the least little bit of like, I don't know, touch, I guess, I don't really know how to put it, that you're like, probably shouldn't be walking by here by myself. But in reality, like, yeah, Savannah is very haunted. But Savannah is a beautiful city. And everybody's very welcoming, but most of the stuff that you'll experience there is made for, the tourist side of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback on what I was saying, as far as, volunteering and helping with the gunslingers, unfortunately, because I had the stroke, I wasn't able to help as much per se on the physical aspect, as much as I wanted to, but I can't thank the organization enough for still allowing me that opportunity to help out, in the little bit of ways that I could. And not only that, but just giving me the best seat in the house for every home game.
That's
right
so
there.
cool.
And the support from the players, the coaches, the ownership, whatever, and them just checking on me and asking me how I was doing and their words of encouragement. And to be honest, I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart, that if it wasn't, for the organization and the season, it helped me get through this recovery mentally that bit more, that bit more, because it kept my mind off of a lot of things, and just their inspiration and seeing them going out there and battling every game, fighting whatever this and that, and their words of encouragement for me or whatever. I really relied on them, and I can, like I said, I can honestly say that they are a huge part of the recovery process that I'm going through, and that the stuff that I was going on to help me to get to a point where I'm at this time. And probably one of the biggest things that I can take out of being part of that San Antonio Gunslinger family is the friends and the people that I got to meet along the way. Case in point, Brian and Nicole. I met them at a watch party. And by the way, thank you, Brian and Nicole, both of you, for blessing me with this opportunity to be on the show with you guys today. And y'all are truly, I enjoyed y'all's company when I met y'all that night or whatever. And I'm glad that, we were able to, take it that one step further and continue and hopefully build a better friendship from it. And but just the people that I've got to meet along the way, and just the relationships I've made, with our athletes, and not only our athletes, but athletes across the league from the various teams, throughout the country. It was kind of nice. I think one of the coolest things was when we played Orlando, and one of the coaches came up to me, and he goes, "Hey, you're Johnny Salazar." I said, "Yeah, how you doing, coach?" I said, "You can't go nowhere before you take a picture." He goes, "No." He goes, "Yeah, I want to take a picture with you." He goes, and for him to tell me that he liked my energy, on the media boards or whatever, and for these athletes to actually recognize, from these other teams, when I step out on the field after a game, like, "Hey, what's up?" And, just talking like we've known each other, for quite some time. Those relationships I'll treasure for a long, long time. And like I said, meeting folks like, Brian and Nicole and everybody else along the way, that's been really, really special. Danny, I got a question
So
for
just
you.
to let everybody know, if they don't see in the private chat, Roman's asking for everybody's social media handle. So
I'll send it to you, Ro. Danny, I got a question for you.
Sure.
You rock at Seattle.
Go Hawks, man, all day.
And okay, well, I'm a die-hard Dallas Cowboy fan.
We got you. We got you, man. Today doesn't count. But yeah, every time they play, either my cousin's a diehard Dallas fan, so either we go to Seattle to watch them play, or we go to Dallas to watch them play. I try to make maybe 2 home games a year. You guys are not gonna have a good season. I'm sorry.
Are you
we're
sure we're not going to the Super Bowl? Because you know what, that's for us every year.
Holy cow!
You guys are a broken record. I'm sorry. I'm a big football smack talker. I apologize. We're gonna run the NFC West, and there's nobody stopping us. Rams aren't what they used to be. 49ers, they're Cardinals. They don't know what's going on. We got Bobby Wagner back. We got our boy Tariq Woolen from UTSA. I mean, there's no stopping us this year, man.
So there's one of my friends that is originally from Seattle. He works in Hollywood. He's a producer. And he always calls the Seahawks the Jedi Knights of the North Pacific.
Oh.
Or the Pacific Northwest is what he calls them.
Yeah, honestly, funny enough, why I became a Seahawks fan was when Tony Romo fumbled that and Jason Babineau stopped him at the 3-yard line. So that's all I gotta say about that.
I just want to say that times like this makes me realize how big of a nerd I really am, because I can talk comics and horror movies all day, but y'all start talking about football and I'm like, huh?
Oh, no.
No, yeah.
Same.
The only thing I know about wrestling is Matt Hardy, his baby is Gothic Baby. Like, I know nothing else.
Oh, yeah. Delete. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I'm just confused.
I can do all the other stuff, but like wrestling, I guess, is my thing, and maybe XFL right now. But like the other stuff, I don't pay enough attention to. Probably because I'm kind of angry that they get paid so much money and
teachers don't.
Well, that's one thing, because you could pay me more. Just so that I don't have to struggle. But honestly, like, what do they do? There aren't enough of them that give back. Like, I think like in the XFL and even in arena football, there's been a lot more of them giving back to the community and being visible and out there talking to people and doing things. And like, I think that's a big deal too, is like, you have all this money and what have you done to help others? Like,
So I agree with you. And like, as a Southerner, I'm from Florida. I've grown up all over the place, but Florida. So SEC football, we're supposed to live and breathe it, right? And I do not. I went to a few different universities. University of Florida is where I graduated my last degree from, PhD, whatever. But yeah, I don't understand football. And yet here I am like going, okay, go team. I don't really get it.
What is that joke from Seinfeld? You don't cheer for the team, you cheer for laundry colors.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that. So earlier today, literally had this conversation. Oh, their uniforms are so pretty. They're pink and black. Wait, what? Like, I don't understand. That is, by the way, Miami soccer team. Their uniform.
Yeah. You guys just got Lionel Messi's down there now, right? That's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be it. I don't know.
It's like the Michael Jordan of soccer. So
I mean, the only Florida team I like are the Dolphins, and I've been a Dolphins fan since Dan Marino. So
nice.
I think the funny thing is I'm from Michigan, so we don't have a lot of winning streaks. So like,
you still support the Wolverines.
Like I've graduated from University of Michigan, so I've been Go Blue Wolverines fan for like my entire life. But I was always really angry because we would always lose against Michigan State. And so I kind of didn't follow football. I mean, I followed college or high school football more than college football, but like college basketball was where it's at because we would win. And so it was always a little bit more fun. But like, we'd have the Pistons. We had a good run in the early 2000s. The Tigers recently just had a pretty good run. The Lions, unfortunately, haven't had a lot of really good runs.
They're getting there, though.
Well,
recently, but they do have Parker Romo now. So let's cross our fingers.
Now that Aaron Rodgers is gone, your chances have just skyrocket.
Wait, so Florida, so football here. University of Florida, hands down, the Gators, huge Gator fan. Obviously, this is my area. It's where I'm from. I love them. Fine, whatever. I don't really understand anything else. People are like, who's your professional team? And I'm like, the Jaguars? Because that's the only one I can name off the top of my head.
Brahma Babe? She's a big Jaguars fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay, so she's a local Brahmas super fan.
I mean, she's a football super fan, but she's a Jaguars. Like, she grew up in Jacksonville, so
I'm working on some stuff for her actually.
The Jags are her.
The Jags are good. I'm recording this from Jacksonville, so I feel like I should say "Go Jags." I don't know. I feel like that's like a thing. I'm confused. I'm not good at that. I was going
to ask you something, Roman. After listening to like John's story and everybody's story here, like, what does community mean to your business, and how do you? I know you're a newer business, but going forward, how do you want to connect to your community?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in giving back too. I mean, the only reason I would like to make money is so I can give back more. Like, that's like try to give as much as I can, like where I'm at now, and then I'd love to just keep giving. And that's always been something my goal with my wife and I. We chat like, if we ever make it, then that's what we want to do, is like give, and we still try now. But you chose to do like have me pair drinks with like shows and movies, and I think it's because you probably saw the videos I was doing with other small businesses in the community in San Antonio. And so like we don't sell like food. We have the sodas, lemonade, sparkling waters, and we have cookies, popcorn, and quesadillas. And and so we don't have like food, and so I have no problem promoting other small businesses and their restaurants, and people love. One of the most watched things is food videos, and so something that benefits us, but it benefits the other businesses is like making these foodie videos. And so I've been going out and making videos for restaurants for free. I'm having to like pay for their food, but most of the time they're just so generous and they're very grateful. These businesses to like it gives them food, and then I do these reviews. I film them like cooking everything, and then I'll just say, hey, this drink that we have pairs great with this meal. And so they like, and I've loved been doing that because one, like I truly love building relationships for the sake of having more connections in my life, not just because it's a business benefit. And so like being able to meet these other business owners and like get to know them, learn from them, they learn from me, like, and they know they can call me if they need help or if they want to do another collaboration or do whatever together. They know that they have like the support out there. And I'm like, the best way to build a network is to share your network. And so if anybody ever needs something, I know somebody who can help them. That's good. And so it's been a lot of fun to do that.
So when you open one of these down here? Say, like,
Get out.
Ladies first.
Down this way. Sorry.
No, she's asking. So when do you open in Florida?
Like, I have an idea for a drink called the Florida Man.
Oh yeah, that would be the first drink I made once we get to Florida. So.
No, it's going to sound weird, but it'll be absolutely everything you've ever missed in your life.
Yeah, that would be absolutely true.
I wanted to ask. You said that the concept was from like when you lived in Utah,
right?
So they have like their own, like how you have the Texas flavors. Like, was one of their flavors like salt?
Yeah, Salt Lake. No, so they don't. So I love Texas, and us Texans are prideful people. And I wanted to do a soda shop because one, I love Texas, and then what a Texans love is Texas. And so I wanted to have something that connected to the audience or the people in the place where I'm building this. And so that's why everything is Texas themed. Like that's like my like little mission statement is like serving people quality drinks and snacks the Texas way. And that can be defined of several different ways, but like to me it's friendliness, but it's also keeps us like guiding star, like this is a Texas soda shop. That's why I didn't make a Barbie drink, because I couldn't think of maybe necessarily a Barbie Texas thing. Like but I did make a Wemby water because that's right now it's very relevant to San Antonio.
So what about like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Do you have a drink?
So I do, when Halloween comes out, we have like our drinks of the week is when we want to have like the spooky stuff, So I do have like the Chupacabra, they have the La Llorona is one. And speaking of spooky stuff, we have one called the Donkey Lady.
Yeah.
If you don't know the legend of the Donkey Lady.
I know the legend of the Donkey Lady.
You do? Oh my gosh, that's great.
So you need the Leatherface.
What?
The Leatherface.
Oh, Leatherface.
Massacre.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. It's also sort of family vibe. But we'll see. I do want to do something like I keep it like that spooky theme, and that's a great idea.
Call it the Bubba.
The Bubba. There you go.
Yeah, you told me right away as soon as you said cheesecake. I was like, who cares if I have diabetes? I'm going.
So is expansion and franchise in your future?
Yeah, so we're expanding now. Like our goal is to open up another one by the end of the year. It will be a drive-through only. Speaking of drive-through, and we already have a drive-through at the first one, but it also has a decent dine-in space as well. And then we want to have a few more next year, and then like keep expanding throughout the state. And like if we go beyond, that would be just fantastic too.
Well, you already have someone waiting in Florida, so
Yeah.
It would be so cool. The Florida man, the swamp gator,
Yeah.
you know,
Everglades.
There's
Yeah.
a lot you could do with
yeah, the
Florida.
python, the falling
Yeah.
iguana.
I was lucky enough so when I moved down here to San Antonio, it all happened pretty fast. Like it was COVID, right? And then they're stuck inside. And I was like, all right, well, let the 2020 November Thanksgiving, we decided to drive down to Texas from Utah and spend it with family here. And we did. And I was just so miserable at my job. Like I work in tech. I don't come from a restaurant or anything. I worked in the tech world. And it's a really soul-sucking kind of place at times. It's great money. It's good. It's like a crazy industry. And all that did come back down after COVID.
So you basically just bet on yourself. You said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to start.
I said,
that's
so
dope.
it's Utah, November, it's like 30 degrees. Texas, it's like 70, 80, like 80s. And I'm like, it's so hot. Like, why do I need a drink here? Like, I don't want to go to Sonic. And it's like, there's nothing here. And so I'm like, let's do it. So like 3 months later, we sold our house in Utah, and I drove down here like over a weekend, and we just looked around at a bunch of houses and neighborhoods, and then we just picked one, which is the one we're in now. And it wasn't built yet. And so we just were like homeless-ish for like 4 months till it was finished. So we sold our house and we didn't have a finished home. So we're like, well, we're going to go live on the road, because working in tech, I could work remotely. And so we traveled all over, like from Utah to New Mexico, El Paso, San Antonio, Indiana. But we stayed in Florida for a whole month, which was amazing experience. And Kissimmee? No, Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
Yeah, okay. See, I knew I was going to say it wrong. And then we went up to like DC and Niagara Falls and Tennessee, and then back to Texas. And like Florida was great. Everglades was beautiful. I went to St. Augustine. I went to a pirate ship ride because
people talk bad about Florida, but really we're fun. We're a lot of fun. You may never like recover.
I
after
think Texas and Florida have a lot in common.
No, I think we do too. I agree completely, wholeheartedly. Florida's, we're the Australia of the U.S.
Yeah, no, there is Texas and Florida. My time down there in Florida, I did see a lot of similarities. One of the biggest things that I noticed is that, one of the sayings that we got down here as of recent was, don't California my Texas. Down there in Florida with a lot of the folks that I met or whatever, they were saying don't New York.
Don't New York my Florida. Don't New York my Florida. Like, yeah. I cannot tell you how many New Yorkers I've met, like living in Florida, like doing the stuff I do in Florida, and I'll meet New Yorkers, and they're like, "Oh, blah blah blah." I was like, "You came here for this. Don't mess it up." Yeah. Like, we are lawless, okay? Like you don't really know what's happening. Everything's just kind of fluid here. Just go with it. You came here for a reason. Don't try to New York it. Just don't New York it. Let it happen. And then my favorite question ever of any transplant, so somebody who's not from here, do you get used to the heat? Baby boy, I'm almost 41. I'm not used to it yet. No, we don't get used to the heat. Doesn't happen.
It's just, it's just, you're just going to have to live through it.
You live through it.
Here in San Antonio, it's kind of the same thing, because a lot of us from El Paso are over here. There's a lot. I was surprised. So they're like, don't El Paso or San Antonio. So it's kind of like the same thing.
No, the only part of Texas I've ever been to is Dallas.
Oh, we don't talk about Dallas.
No, we don't talk about that.
I was there for a work convention. I'm so sorry. That's the only part of Texas I've ever been to. But now I'm realizing that there are other areas I should have ventured.
San Antonio.
Dallas was weird. And they were like, "Oh, the barbecue." And I was like, "This barbecue sucks."
Yeah,
like,
Austin's weird.
Austin's like Portland.
Yeah, but Austin's weird in a different way. Like, Austin's its own like entity.
Yeah.
Portland, exactly.
Oh, so Austin is Texas's Portland.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
It's pretty much.
And I will say, like, even it's like, because of my Texas pride, Austin was the original Keep It Weird. Like keep
Yeah.
Austin weird. They did it first.
No,
Yeah,
I
Austin was
don't
weird.
think things weird. I don't know. Maybe I should see.
And
some.
then just
It's- It's a
if you
slightly
gotta
more
use
progressive hippie culture, hipster culture there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you that love Supernatural, just about, I don't know, a half an hour outside of Austin is Jensen Ackles Brewery.
Yeah. So funny. Fun fact.
Has a bar there too.
I just started watching Supernatural for the very first time 3 weeks ago. Because I just didn't want to be tainted. However, then I learned that Jason Ackles may literally be like my soulmate.
I couldn't
believe
get
he is
past
everyone's soulmate,
I
honestly.
think he is.
I couldn't get past season 3 because it's like they die, they come back, they go to hell, they come back. It's like
I'm
all right,
only
dude.
on season 2.
Never
Oh,
Spoiler alert. Spoiler.
Yeah, I will warn you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
will
you so
warn
much.
you. I will warn you though. You're only in season 2. Probably the best seasons are 1 through 3. It's still good, but season 7 with Leviathans was like something I could have lived without.
Okay,
But
so
characters throughout the whole 15 years of the show, like they are still awesome.
But
So-
you begin to love the characters. as
okay,
you go
so
through.
I have a decent TikTok following. I made a TikTok very recently about the fact that I just started watching Supernatural and I got cussed out by like so many people. They were like, I thought you were in the paranormal community. I was like, wait, I am. What? Like, no, not the same. So I got cussed out a lot. And they're like, Jensen Ackles, or I was like, I'm taking Daddy. Like, I was a Grey's Anatomy fan. That's Denny. Like, I don't really understand what's happening here. I don't know. I'm not doing good with Supernatural. It's not bad. It's a good show.
Just wait till he takes his shirt off. It's fine.
Just keep
Yeah.
like there's a lot of funny episodes
think-
and stuff.
But
And there's a lot of
most-
creepy episodes.
I feel
too.
like most people don't watch it for the horror factor. Like
So I'm watching it for the horror factor.
Like a lot of people watch it for the dynamic between the brothers.
Oh yeah, that's
and
so cool.
and the dynamic between the characters because Felicia
Okay.
Day is amazing and
oh,
Right.
she's a
I mean,
sweetheart.
She's our mothership nerd. Like,
you know
yeah.
so like when you put all these people on screen together, I think that's where the magic comes from because you honestly believe that they care about each other.
Yeah, and this is why The Boys does so well because Eric
The Boys is
Kripke,
good.
who created Supernatural, he created the TV show The Boys. So you see the same as the character. That's why the characters are so like wacky, but
Which is also like the reason. I mean, the reason that Jensen is in The Boys is because of Eric Kripke, but not so much in the 16 years of Supernatural.
specimen.
He was locked out of a lot of other things.
I can see
Soldier
how
Boy
you-
is like the serious douchebag version of Dean Winchester. Like
I mean, I like douchebags though, so what the hell do I know?
Oh my.
apparently I do too.
Toxic traits, I can admit it. Okay, I can admit it. I am involved. Like, I just started watching it. So I posted on my TikTok. I got a lot of hate, and then this girl was like, "Well, like as somebody who actually does this, like this is very fake." And she was like, "You don't need to be rude." I was like, "I'm not being rude. It's not
Just being
real
honest.
life. If I'm being honest, like this isn't real life." But at the same note, I'm a huge horror fan. So like my sixth side of my fantasy is a guy that's going to wear the ghost face mask. Like, so I probably should not be watching Supernatural.
This is the third time I've heard that this week about Ghostface from somebody. What is
You know
going
what?
on?
I have an unhealthy attachment to Ghostface too. Like I really
Unhealthy.
unhealthy. Like
Unhealthy.
and I lived through the 90s. So a lot of this stuff that was very very 90s-esque, the fact that it's come back and it's still here. Like
Right
I
here.
love the fact that
Yeah.
there's a 7 coming out. Like I saw the poster that they leaked on the internet and I was like, oh my God. So honestly, I'm jazzed, beyond jazzed.
And
I'm
if you're
jazzed
gonna
we're getting a
keep
13
more-
Ghost TV series.
Oh, wow.
That too, but I'm like, I'm probably gonna be too scared to watch it.
I'm really,
So,
yeah.
I was gonna
So-
say, if you are excited about Scream 7, this will elevate it. It's being directed by the person that did Happy Death Day and
Okay.
Freaky.
I
Great.
love I love
I
those
love-
movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you've seen Freaky was the horror body switch.
Yeah, Freaky
like,
was good.
comedy
Freaky
with-
Friday.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it was,
No, it was with,
Freaky was basically
um,
Freaky Friday.
yeah, with Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Thank you. I
Yeah,
couldn't
he
remember the name. It was
switches
actually
with the
super
girl.
good.
Best Vince Vaughn movie
Ever. Hands down. Hands down.
Are you
So,
guys
no.
excited for? I'm sorry.
No,
no,
no.
Are you guys
sure.
excited for Exorcist? Oh, everybody's like, "Whoa, okay." I thought it was a good trailer.
Okay, so this is my thing. I love ghosts. I love folklore. I love monsters. I love that, but I'm not into demons.
I think this.
I'm not
Exorcist
into
is gonna be good.
possession. I can't like you start head toward and also Korean horror. I can't do Korean horror.
Korean
because
horror is great. So,
things
so
move to I can't do that. Like it's too much for me. I
okay,
watched The Ring.
so
I don't know. What year did The Ring come out?
Well,
The
the
Ring came
original
out
Ring, like 2001.
Okay, so I
no,
was
no, it
21
like
years
98,
old.
99. Yeah, about that time. Yeah.
I did not sleep for 2 weeks.
It was good though.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm just a sissy. Like, I don't know if I'm just a chicken jet or what, but like it scared the bejesus out of me.
So I feel like it's whatever you think could happen in real life messes with you. So for me, so The Exorcist, am I excited about it? Look, The Exorcist, the original horror film, is by far like it is like creme de la creme. You know what I'm talking about? Like this is a movie that like we never saw until we had this film. This is the movie that parents refuse to let their kids watch well into the 90s. Okay. This movie is the movie that literally made generations of kids sleep with the lights on. So The Exorcist is a purist film. The new Exorcist doesn't look great. However, it doesn't look bad. I'm going to see it because it's kind of like what I do. But I don't really think it's going to be that good. The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was based on a true story, true events, wasn't great. I don't think it's going to be good. I think that it's like kind of one of those things, though. So like Evil Dead's like my favorite horror franchise of all time. Evil Dead Rise, if you guys haven't seen it, you should. It is absolutely incredible. Fight me. But I feel like The Exorcist is just not gonna be it. I feel like I think they're gonna. I think that what they're trying to do is what a lot of studios are trying to do is like capitalize on that nostalgic feeling of horror when it's gonna just kind of fall short. I mean, nothing will ever compare to that. Like the priest walking up on the dew-stricken like porch and like the light flickering and like the whole thing and like the sound of the rain and like you're just not gonna get that. We're not gonna get that. We live in an era of everything's being filmed. We're not gonna get what we got then.
Now, Roman's gonna have to hop off here, but so we'll end the show. But I'm gonna do something different, just because I'm a huge fan of this person on YouTube and his wrestling interviews and celebrity interviews. So he ends his videos with asking everybody what 3 things that they are.
You need to give him credit then.
I know Chris Van Fleet. He always asks 3 things that everyone is grateful for. So we'll start with you, Danny. Like three things that you're grateful in life right now.
One of them, I guess, I'm grateful the VA gave me $205,000 to look for a house. I guess I don't know. All my collectibles are in one piece. And still having a job, because where I work at, like I could light the place on fire and they would not fire me. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in San Antonio. I like it here. Like it's not as bad as when I just moved here. I was kind of like upset about it, but yeah, that's about it.
Sheila?
I'm grateful for my kids because I'm a mommy. I'm grateful for my like partner because he's actually like the first person I've ever been with. It's like, oh, it's cool that you're weird. And I am grateful. Like it's hard when you're the weird girl, okay? It's hard when you're the weird girl.
True.
And I am thankful for I don't know, just getting to wake up every day and deciding to choose my path.
Roman?
Yeah, I am thankful for God's help to get me to the point of that I can start my own business. I'm not sure where everybody's at, like religiously, but I have a lot of faith in God, and he helped me accomplish what I've wanted to do my whole life. That's start business, and I hope to start many more. So I'm just very grateful to have that opportunity and that perspective and the strength. But also, like, I have kiddos as well. I have 3 and 1 on the way. So that's also been fun while having a business. And so they're, including my wife, and we're just really blessed to have them. And I feel like that's 3-ish because it's like God, family, business, like being able to accomplish my own goals and passions while still having a family. And I've been really blessed to have go spend time with them, and not just be all consumed, which is what I feel like a lot of people do. I'm busy, don't get me wrong, but be able to see them and like not be like, where was my dad when I was a kid? So
That's the same. Not sure.
And Mr. Salazar?
What am I grateful for? First and foremost, to be here with you guys. You know, getting to know you guys and listening to your stories, and getting to delve, and get to know you guys a little bit better and stuff like that. Because to be honest with you, a few months ago, I didn't know where I'd be, and so I'm definitely grateful to be here with you guys today. Number 2, I guess health, and number 3, lastly, and this is going to be off the wall, but football season for me never stops. But now we try to Cowboys, and so I'm ready for that, and I'm also ready. I'm ready for Brian and Nicole. I think you may relate to this one. I'm ready for All In. I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that drama.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess, of course, the family that I chose, the family that I have, the family that's mine that I made, but also the family that I didn't choose, but kind of got swept up into here in San Antonio. And of course, my new job, because who knew I'd end up in 5th grade, if you know me, because I have littles now, and they're not, 13-year-old turds. I mean, let's be honest. 8th graders they're not happy humans. But 5th graders are, which is very strange to me, but it's so much more fun. And then I guess, like, I don't know, like all the opportunities that are coming our way.
Nice.
And I'm going to piggyback on John there. Being here, meeting new people, Danny, you, Roman, all of our Brahma family.
Yeah, because you're the extrovert of this relationship.
Yeah, that's.
I'm like, hi.
Really?
Yeah. I'm terrible. Like, if I know you, I'm great. I'm
No,
good.
you're amazing.
Same way.
I will talk your ears off, but if I don't know you, I'm not venturing out to know you, which is not a good thing.
I'm a horrible extrovert though, so I need this. So I apologize.
So it's like, I'm not that person. Like, he'll go and talk to people all over the place. And I'm like, what are you doing? Let's go.
I'm grateful that we are able to start this show again. It's been on hiatus for a couple of months, and
It's more than a couple months.
Well,
It's
more
been for a while.
it's been a while. Yeah.
We're gonna make it better.
We're
We're gonna get our duckies in a row.
Yeah, but I looking forward to the future. That's something I'm very grateful for. I think Roman has a great passion in his business, and I look forward to extending that relationship.
I think the best part about this show though is you get to hear other people's stories, and you kind of like always have that network with them, and so you're kind of invested in what they're doing.
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, how are things going? And
once
you
we've met like a new person, it's never the same. You never not have a connection with them now.
right.
Yeah, but as I do every time,
week.
every week, we got to ring that bell.